Welcome to T Simple Podcast. We focus on providing simple solutions in the classroom. This podcast is for parents, for educators, for kids, because we're trying to drop the gems. And I got my just a lovely young lady with me today. Her name is Allison Allen, also known as Pinkiie Tha Plug. She's going to plug you in with the not the nicest, but the finest eyelashes in the ATL. How you doing today, sister? What's up?
Hi, how are you?
Can't complain, can't complain, can't complain. Just real quickly, I just want to just talk about just, your spirit. Like when I first met you, when you introduced yourself, it was someone with something to say, someone with a story, and someone that's definitely gonna not only be someone, but be somebody, but you already doing that. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So on the podcast, we have, three affirmations. The first affirmation is snapping. The second one is golf clapping. And the third one is raise the roof. Now, since you got, your little still image, I'm going to just pretend that you're doing that. I can hear the golf claps or whatever. But I just want you to know that, if you say a lot of good stuff that's like really just thought provoking, like what we want, I'm going to definitely give you that affirmation. Okay. So just to know that's why I'm doing that.
Okay.
Bet. Cool. So perseverance, right? One thing I feel about what really makes someone is them going through something, they solve the problem, and then they learn the lesson, and now there's something greater. Do you think you're that person?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about why you're that person. Why are you someone that is a pure example of resilience and perseverance?
Because throughout everything that I have gone through and experienced, I have a voice and my voice matters. And I am somebody. We all are somebody and we all have voices and they're all important.
Period. Real simple, straight to the point. And with that voice, right, we always have to make sure that voice has substance to it. One thing I've learned about kids, and we're going to get to teacher tip of the week, that teachers, when you are in front of the youth, right, when you're in front of young people, they can see through the bullshit. They can see through the BS. They can tell when you're saying something, and they can see through and dissect what you're saying and really tell if you really mean it. So teachers, my tip to you is whatever you say, make sure you got the evidence to back it up. Whatever you say, make sure you're real about it. Don't be phony to kids because they're gonna definitely know it. Kids give me a lot of flack because they can tell that I grew up in the suburbs, right? So I grew up in New Orleans. I grew up in the suburbs part of New Orleans, and my kids always tell me like, "Mr. Nella, man, you won't understand, man, because you're from the suburbs." And I'll be like, "Yeah, maybe you're right, but I'm willing to understand." And they appreciate that because even though I'm different, they accept me because they know I'm coming with love. So thinking about when you were in school, I guess what did you most want from a teacher? And if you could give a tip to some teachers out there, what would you give them? And before you do that, teaching right now it's in a state of emergency. Currently right now it's a huge teacher shortage. Teachers don't want to teach the kids. Right now we have computers teaching kids. So based off of that, what advice would you give?
Growing up when I was in school, the biggest thing is I just wanted to be noticed for my effort, no matter, it didn't even have to be something big, it's the little things. I wanted to be recognized for even just the smallest things because it made me feel so big inside.
Wow. I'm loving this interview already. I just love how you're just answering the questions straight to the point and they're hitting. So thank you so much. So let's talk about it. So maybe talk about a couple weeks before that life-changing moment happened, and then what happened. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was a manager. I worked at the mall. I had a mall job. I loved it. I loved my job. I was working at Victoria's Secret, and it was really fun. And I just felt like it was something I was supposed to be doing. I worked there for years, but I just felt like I belonged there because I was helping people. I was making women feel confident and beautiful. Well, I had issues. I have a daughter, she's 3, and her father was dating somebody, and it led to some issues between me and the girl. And long story short, I met her in person, and it was like an altercation had stemmed from that to aggravated assault charges and robbery charges. And I lost my job. I lost everything. I was locked up for 6 months. I spent half of my year in 2020 incarcerated.
Wow. So you weren't waking up in the morning and being like, yeah, man, I'm definitely this is gonna happen. It was just impulsive.
Yeah, it happened out of nowhere. The girl, after the altercation, it took her a while to, I guess she decided she wanted to press charges on me, but she was getting into it with old friends of mine. So it was just like this ongoing drama. Um, I was actually like, I had people in my life that I cared about, but they meant me no good. That's really the biggest thing. People that I cared about so much meant no good to me, didn't have my best intentions at all, didn't care about anything, that was going on with me. I'm diagnosed with like mental health, also like depression, anxiety, PTSD. And the people that I had in my circle, they were like really not good for me or my situation. And that's what happened. So everything that's like toxic, you keep doing something that's bad for you. Um, if you keep eating unhealthy, it's going to harm your body. Smoking after a while harm your body, things like that. So hanging around, people that really don't mean you the best, yeah, that can harm you as well. And although I take full ownership of everything that I did in my situation, it's still a matter of like, people have a lot of like power in your world, like in your little world. You have to be careful who you let in, because not everyone is deserving of your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 So talk about like that moment when she pressed the charges to you realizing that you have to go somewhere.
um I realized she pressed charges on me when my mom woke me up. I had to go to work that morning, but my mom woke me up super early. It was like 8, 9 in the morning. She was like, "Oh, honey, there's like 9 officers out here, 9 police cars, and I don't know if they're here for me or you, because my parents, when I was younger, they spent my childhood in prison. So, I was like, okay, I kind of knew they were there for me. I got everything ready. I really couldn't get ready for that, but they met me in the hallway. They were already in the house, and I went to jail, and I was like, wow, I'm already on probation. And I felt like I was doing so good, and I had a management position at my job, and I was on probation for fighting. That's all goes back to, you have to be careful who you are around all the time, because when you're around the wrong people, they bring the bad things out of you, like sides of you that you probably don't really pay attention to. You have to keep your friends like at a minimum. You have to know like who you're hanging around and who you're investing your time with. So with me, I would hang around a lot of girls that were like kind of like mean girls and toxic girls, and they were on drugs and fun and doing all this other stuff. And um I started doing the same things too, and I got into a lot of fights. And so anyway, it just stemmed from that. So this was the final deal. Like the judge was like, listen, like, this is crazy. You have all these charges, and when they ran them concurrent, Um, I'm facing 2 years in custody right now, and I'm actually in a behavioral health program. Um, and it's like an alternative to that, as long as I stay on the right path and do what I have to do.
You have an amazing story, and it's so crazy how you're literally shining right now. You know, I can just hear every word you say. It just sounds like, like you're like, yeah, I learned that.
For sure. The girls that I was incarcerated with, I talk to them every week, if not every day. And I reach out to their families, their children, and I help them. And I want to be like their backbone, a shoulder to cry on, because in there you feel forgotten. And I just want to help. I want to help.
Talk about, I guess, that process of getting in the system and getting acclimated to it. It's 2 months. You said 4 months. So that's
6 months.
6 months. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
how many days is that?
Mm,
It's a good amount
I'm
of
not,
days. It's what,
half a year.
yeah, about like 145 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, really quick statistic. So, female incarceration population stands over 7 times higher than in the 1980s. More than 60% of women in state prisons, and you weren't in a prison, right? State prisons have a child under the age of 18. Between 1980 and 2019, the number of incarcerated women increased by 700%, rising from 26,000 to almost 200,000. Did you feel that you were part of a system that was mass incarcerating women?
Absolutely. There's so many of us in jail. I was in county jail. However, even though I am facing prison time, I know what I have to do and I have to follow and abide by these guidelines. And that's fine. But it's overpopulated. There was girls sleeping on the floor in my room when I was in there. They give you like this little thing called a boat and you just throw your mat on there and you're sleeping on the floor. There's 8 beds, they're like bunk beds. But it ended up being like 9 or 10 of us in a room sometimes.
So, how do you socially distance?
So when that came about during COVID, um, I got locked up in February last year. So when it started coming about, they issued us face masks and which telling us to like take it seriously and things of that nature. But the new people that would come in, I'm like, well, if it's so serious, you keep bringing people in my room, like what. But they would like check our temperatures every day, waking us up out of our sleep constantly, like we already have to get up for showers and food and um to make your phone calls and things like that. So on top of that, the many times they were already waking us up, we were getting really frustrated because they're waking us up for temperature checks. And with the people that were new in the holding cell, they would put them in quarantine for 14 days. And that's actually what they're doing right now. I have friends that are actually in federal prison and stuff, and even in the jail. So prison and jail right now, during COVID, when you are new and you come in, you are in a room and you're in quarantine for 14 days before they put you in population with everyone else.
You said that you suffered from I'm assuming, like some mental health or like depression maybe, or how do you how do you deal with that and the reality of being incarcerated?
You have to face it.
Yeah.
Like I was on mental health medication on the outside already, before I got incarcerated. So I was still taking it in there. However, you really just have to face it. And that's like, we'll write, we'll sing to each other, sing with each other. Um, you're just sitting in there and you make bonds with these people because you're going through similar situations. You're in here wearing the same clothes. Nobody's better than the next. And literally, sometimes you just have to cry it out. You have to feel your emotions. And you're literally behind these walls, and it's so hard to really, you can't go out and take a walk of fresh air. You can't do that. So you have to be creative and find different things to do. Like I would uh, dye my undergarments with Kool-Aid and stuff. Like that's what we were doing, and doing each other's hair, singing, things like that, just to take our mind off of what we had going on.
Wait, hold up. You do what with Kool-Aid?
Yeah, you take the Kool-Aid packets and um, you dye your clothes with it. Like you have white bras and stuff. So you take them and you just put them, you mix it with like a little bit of water and you just dye it. You put it on the clothes and let it dry.
So it can like add like a design to your clothing?
Yeah, you could do tie dye or you could do it all one color, however you wanted to do it.
Are there any people you want to shout out that got you through that 6 months? Like maybe like if you can, some people
Yeah.
that, helped you, because I'm sure there are people that, like you said, like they're human. One thing about a really great documentary that I would really recommend that, you watch and then everybody else in the audience to watch is the documentary 13 by Ava DuVernay. And essentially what it says is that if you're incarcerated, you're essentially a slave. You're a property. You have, no rights. And they treat you as such, like you said earlier. So just talk more about the human element in jail or like prison or excuse me, jail, county jail. What are some of the characters? What are the people that you see there? And what did you learn from them?
I learned a lot of different people skills because I'm the type of person I wouldn't want to I don't like I wasn't very talkative. I was always to myself. So being in a small room with a bunch of girls, it's a lot of different personalities, and I would just learn a lot of different things from them. Like we'd have conversations about everything under the sun.
Mm.
Some women are good business women. Some women are amazing mothers that are in there. Some women are nurses that are in there. I mean, you'd be surprised of like these people that are incarcerated, like what they are. Like, hey, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm this, that, and the third. You're in there with all of these people, and I just got along with them. They brought me out my shell. Some of the girls were teaching me how they write. Like they would write poems and stuff, and I really got into that,
Mm.
and it helped me write my emotions down on paper. And we would sing together. We would write songs, things like that, and it was just really fun too. Like I had a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, some of the best times in my life come from being in there, and I say that because um there's not a phone to distract me.
Mm.
We're all in the same outfit. Nobody's better, nobody's got on designer and somebody doesn't. There's not leaving anybody out. We're all sharing. We're all the same, and we're sitting in there and we're laughing. We're bringing each other up, we're uplifting each other, and that's what I like. So that's some things that I want to take from there and apply it in the real world on the outside, because that makes me feel like a human. That makes me feel loved. And I just really enjoy that.
Thank you so much. You answered that question perfectly. So you there, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month, 5 months and 2 weeks. Describe that last week. So like what is going through your head? What are you planning? I don't know, like what I know you're excited, but like be real about it.
Well, I started reading books in jail called The Cartel, and it's a series of books. I believe it's like a book of like 8 books altogether, I think, if I remember correctly. And the women and men in the books are bosses. They're so empowering. I admired it. I loved it. And I'm like, wow, like when I come home and when I leave, what am I going to do? I'm in this program now. I got accepted. I'm about to go home. I'm a convicted felon now. So that's going to be hard. I'm very limited on jobs. I'm not going to settle for anything. I have to break this. I have to figure something out. Like, people are telling me, it's okay, warehouses will hire you, or, McDonald's will hire you, and things like that. And okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with working there. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But when you have a vision in your heart,
right,
you've got to do that. You've got to apply that. I gave up on myself when I was younger. I should have felt like this a long time ago and just took off running, and I didn't. And I want to help children, women, men, everybody. It's not too late. Continue to do it. Everything that you believe in your heart, do that. I came up with mink lashes because before I was incarcerated at Victoria's Secret, everyone wanted to know where I got my lashes from. And truth be told, I would just buy them from Walmart, Everybody's like, yeah, and they're like, no way, it can't be true. Yeah, I did. They're at Walmart. They're there. So yeah, I came up with my own line, and I was like, I really want to take the power that was driven in the cartel and how everybody worked together. And even though they did illegal things and bad things, I want to have that same energy and apply it to something positive. I want to apply it to something good and see how that's going to work out. And now I have a cartel themed lash line. I sell mink lashes. Everything is cartel themed, very pretty. I spend a lot of time on my packaging. The quality of my lashes are very, very wonderfully made. They're handmade, real mink fur. So I took my time into all of this, and I took the bad stuff, like the cartel. They're selling drugs, right?
Yeah.
And they want to sell the best drugs on the block,
right.
And they want it to be addicting, and they want everybody to shop with them, and they want to take over the whole block, right? Well, I want to do the same thing. I'm not selling drugs. I'm selling mink eyelashes,
Right.
and now I want to be a plug. I want to be the boss that I am, right? And I want to have my dealers, that's like in the cartel, you have your dealers, and they're going to be my mink lash dealers, and they're going to sell this exclusive product that we have, the mink lashes. You can't find them anywhere. You can only get them through us. And that's what's amazing about it, because that's going to help other people make money. That's going to, and we can run the block, run the town. We are self-employed. It's COVID. Everybody needs a side hustle.
Right.
And I feel like that's something that we also learned during COVID too, is we tapped into our talents that we probably didn't even know we had.
Right. Absolutely.
And I just want to take over the block, one lash at a time.
Oh, man. I love it, man. I love it. I got my sister Pinkiie Tha Plug up in here, man, dropping the gems, man. I told her this is going to be probably my favorite episodes. I love it. I can't see your facial expression, but I know the body language is on point. How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling like a boss.
There you go. There you go. So, so talk about like your fascination with the cartel, because I'm fascinated with Italian mobsters. I love Goodfellas, you know, and I think it's cool how you took certain concepts and you applied it to something different. And our kids do that a lot, right? They always take something and they apply it to something else, and they either get ridiculed by the adults, or if it's really dope, you know, they usually make $1 million off of it, right? You know, but I think that's really dope, you know, and very intellectual how you took a concept and you flipped it. Talk more about that.
So this girl, this character in the book, in the cartel, her name is Mia Moore. And I have an eyelash named after her, actually. The cartel, if you guys didn't know, is written by Ashley and Jacquavis. They're a couple. They have the cartel book series. That's them. I really love that. That's like my favorite book to read. And it's a series, and it's like, okay, so you you really, when you're reading the books, you feel powerful. Like you feel like, wow, like this is what their lives are like this is what they do. And that's not even the crazy part, right? That's one thing. But the structure of the cartel, the
Yeah,
members, everybody plays a role,
yeah,
and they play it so well. And it's just, everything is just to the T. And you know, one little thing that it brings down the whole cartel.
right.
Like somebody could get involved with law enforcement and bring down the whole operation, the whole cartel. And
Right.
that's my fascination, the structure. That's really what it's about. Like, it's powerful, but it takes everybody.
Man, Pinkiie the Plug, bro. You know I gotta have you back on. Maybe next. Yo, man, I'm super excited. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I mean, whenever, like, I really, like, I'm honored to even be here, you know? Like, I've always wanted to share my story with people. I'm an open book. And, you know, like, going back to, like, talking about teachers and things like that, as a kid, I felt neglected. You know, I used to be in class and just want them to be nice to me because my grandmother wasn't nice to me. I was going through a lot at home, and I didn't want to tell anybody at school how, you know, sometimes I did feel suicidal. But, you know, people didn't know, like, the kids that would be in class with me, they could be like, hey, that's a really cool book bag. And that would just turn my whole day around. Like, you just don't know.
Oh. Yo, I was one of those kids too, man. I was definitely one of those kids, just dying for attention. Cause like I said, like I was a kid from the suburbs, but my mother put me in like inner city, not say inner city schools, but schools that weren't the suburbs, if you know what I mean. And the kids
Mm-hmm.
could tell I was different. You know what I mean? They could tell that even though I was black and it was an all black school, they could tell I was different. And I used to get ostracized because of that. And that, like, whenever someone would say something nice to me, that person would be my friend forever.
Yeah, and it turns your whole day around. And, like, you know, you don't know. That's why I like to give compliments to people. You
Mm,
know, and I just want you to know, like, I know, you know what I mean? And I just want to make somebody's day. Like, literally, a girl that bought my lashes last night, I wasn't really having the best night. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. Um, the program put me in additional classes that I have to take, and it's just like, to me, it's annoying, but I know I have to do it. I know I do.
yeah.
So it just made me so happy. Like, her purchase just really made me so happy that she would want to support me, and I threw in an extra eyelash for her. She doesn't even know it.
Aww. And those little
Yeah.
bitty moments are super important because sometimes it's not about the product, it's the person that we care about. Like your pitch that you gave was literally probably 10 seconds or 20 seconds. but it instantly caught my attention because it's just your spirit, Pinkiie. Your spirit is really, really like precious. So thank you so much for just thank you. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So I love that you brought it back to the kids, and that's why this is probably my favorite episode because you are hitting it. So what do you want kids to learn from your story about decision making?
I want children to know and kids to know that it's okay to make mistakes because we're all gonna make them. We all make mistakes. It's not what you go through, it's how you get through it. That's what I want children to know.
And that's the simplicity, y'all. We got the T Simple podcast. I got my sister Pinkiie Tha Plug. Pinkiie Tha Plug, where can they find you and what's some stuff you got going on right now?
All right, so you can find me on Instagram. It's Pinkiie Tha Plug, PinkiethaPlug. And the things I have going on right now, for Valentine's Day, I've got an all new exclusive lash style that's coming out. You know, you gotta stay tuned. And it's gonna be super exclusive. When it sells out, that's gonna be it for that. And then, I'm just keeping everything, ran in the cartel way. That's what I'm doing.
Lord. Have you seen The Sopranos yet? Have you seen that?
Yes.
Don't you love it?
I do.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
And then, hopefully, hopefully, like later on this year, I'll be able to, start doing like a wholesale aspect of the lashes and have my dealers,
Yes. So talk about your vision.
My dealers that are ready to step outside of the box. Well, we were talking about like the cartel and stuff and like how, okay, so you have like a plug, and they have the product. So then the dealers, they buy their product and then they, try to take over their blocks and stuff like that and get everybody to shop with them and, things like that. And they're selling something that's addicting. Okay. Drugs, that's negative, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm selling something that's positive and it's eyelashes, it's legal. You learn how to be an entrepreneur, a business owner. You learn communication skills. You learn customer service skills, you know what I mean? And I want to help people and teach them. And, if you're ready to step outside of the box with me and, like run your own business at your own pace, and I back you and help you out, I just want to give somebody an opportunity because, there might be children in people's classes that might want to sell drugs. You don't know. You have to know, like, you know what I mean? They are tempted to do anything. And although the temptation is out there, I want to say I am here and I want to help. And whatever it is that you want to do, I just want you to know that the plug is here in a positive way.
Man, T Simple podcast. I got my sister Pinkiie Tha Plug. She coming through with the knowledge. She coming through with the teaching. She's coming through with the experience. And she coming through with the fancy eyelashes. Again, Pinkiie, where can they find you?
All right. So Instagram, it's at THAPLUGSMINKS. The Plugs Minks. That's my business page. My personal page is Pinkiie Tha Plug. PINKIETHAPLUG.
That's the simplicity, y'all. Pinkiie Tha Plug. She coming through. Make sure y'all come out and buy some eyelashes. I'm definitely going to purchase some just so I can support because I love your message. I love what you're doing. So I definitely got to support you. So thank you so much for blessing us on the T Simple podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Of course. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Bye.